So we're going to talk about a different part of our world. Now we're going to kind of get into some of the electric guitars that we make. And we're going to start with the T5, which is a guitar that we're really proud of. And I'm going to do a quick little demo, and then we'll let Wayne take one through its paces. This is a guitar that was introduced in 2005, and it's kind of a radical guitar because it does many things very well. It does acoustic sounds well, and it does electric sounds.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Back on the acoustics, what makes a Taylor a little bit easier to play than most acoustic guitars?
It's a good question. The reason they play so well is because each one of these guitars gets a custom neck set. And do we have the sound salesman here? Is it anyone? No. The guitars, when these guitars are assembled, they're assembled in a manner that allow the final assembly people to dial in the exact correct neck angle. And that's done with two shims. Mike, if you can hold one of those guitars up. Each one of these guitars has a shim. One of them is sitting underneath the fingerboard extension, and the other one is underneath the heel. And they're all, these spacers that are put in there are available in graduations of 2,000ths of an inch. So the people who put these guitars together have specs that they work with, but they can actually manipulate the neck angle, which is the relationship of the neck to the body in graduations of 2,000ths of an inch. Now, and that's because of the building method, the way these guitars are designed. There are a lot of guitars that are not, they're some more traditional guitars, don't have that flexibility. But that's one of the things that's kind of made us so popular. Just lots of people talk about, man, your guitars are so easy to play. And the cool thing about them is that the way that they're designed and the way that they're built, your guitar can play just as well as it did the day you bought it in 30 years, because you have this ability to change that. If the guitar, it's wood, it's going to change over time. If the guitar, one day you feel like your guitar is a little bit harder to play, you feel like the actions come up, it's completely adjustable and it's an easy repair.
While we're on that particular point, with Taylors moving forward, I want you guys to make sure that you're not approaching any type of string adjustments from the position of the saddle, okay? The way the guitars are built, there is never a need to take a saddle and grind it down, okay? Because it takes about 15 minutes for somebody who knows what they're doing, like Ken Tobias, to do a neck reset where you can take the neck off, put the new shims right in. They're pieces of sapele that come from the babies and the big babies. It's scrap, so we don't waste. And we make these shims so that we can literally just rotate the neck front to back. Okay, that's the difference between having a neck setup with Taylor that takes 15 minutes and going with a more traditional neck setup where the thing has to be steamed off and it has to be sighted and then you have to cross your fingers and pray. Okay? Yes?
What difference does the cutaway have in the tone? I noticed you have rounder cutaways or sharper cutaways, and does that affect the tone at all?
Great question. The question is very simply, does a cutaway affect the tone of a guitar? The answer is mostly not. Okay, unless you've got, just insane ears or a really sensitive microphone. If you had x-ray vision and you were to look through the back of the guitar, there's a shoulder brace that runs right here, okay? The actual amount of sonic activity coming from these upper shoulders is very minimal because the majority of the excitement and sound is coming right here, okay? The belly of the guitar is the sweet spot of the acoustic guitar, okay? So that's where the maximum amount of energy and volume is coming from. And to further that, the reason that you don't see cutaways on the acoustic series is because we're physically building the acoustic series guitars thinner. Okay? Back and side sets are physically thinner pieces of wood than their corresponding cutaway electronic models. That's this. So somebody wants just a great sounding guitar out of the case but doesn't need all the upgrades, it's completely available. Okay? And then the cutaway you're used to, that's the Venetian Cutaway. It's our standard cutaway. Florentine is the real sharp one. You can only find it on a Doyle Dykes model signature. You can find it on an 815 Jumbo. And it comes into the build-to-order program. You can get it that way too. Great question.
Since Taylor had so much success with the acoustic line, what was the motivation behind the T5?
Well, first the question was, with so much, commendability on the acoustic guitars. Why did we bear into T5? I'm going to let Andy answer that. As far as the acoustic lineup, that came 1 year after T5. Okay?
Bob's the kind of guy who wants to, he's not going to make anything unless it elevates the whole industry or it's something new. He is a designer, he's not an assembler. So in other words, if you look at our electric guitars, you've never seen pickups like that, you've never seen a bridge like that. All that stuff was designed in-house. And the story with the electric guitars is that it's all behind those pickups. The pickups sound completely different than any other pickups in the industry. And for years, people have been asking him, when are you going to make electric guitars? Because everybody loves the acoustic so much. And the answer was, when I can bring something new to the table. And that's kind of that also works, that answer works for the T5 as well. Because this is a guitar that lives in two different worlds. And the most part, you know, when he started building guitars, it wasn't like today. People they were acoustic players or they were electric players. There wasn't this thing where everybody played both. And what happened is because of the way those guitars are designed and they're so easy to play, all of a sudden electric players were like, wow, I can make bar chords now, right? You couldn't do that for lots of times for, you know, trying to play a bar chord at the 7th fret sometimes on older guitars. It hurts, right? So that's the idea. He's somebody who once he has a new idea, he'll pursue that and hopefully he'll come up with something completely new. And that's what happened with the T5. The T5 is an instrument that, like I said, lives in two worlds. And the reason it lives in two worlds is because it has a pickup system that we've never seen before. On every T5, you have a pickup that lives underneath this last fret that you can't see. You have the visible humbucker, and then you have a body sensor that's located right here. And the body sensors are what makes this instrument sound so acoustic. You have a volume control, a bass control, and a treble control. And then there's a 5-way switch up here, and the 5-way switch gives you different combinations of those 3 pickups. And just so you know what I got set up here, I have an acoustic amp and an electric amp because I want to demonstrate the full capabilities of this guitar. If you have an acoustic guitar, say you've got a nice Taylor, a 614, and you plug it into your Fender Twin amplifier, how does that sound? Okay, it might feedback, but how does it sound overall? Anybody? Wayne? How would it sound? It would sound like this. It would sound like no high end. It would sound all muffled. It's because electric guitar amplifiers don't have a horn or a tweeter in it. It's not a PA system. It's not full range. So to really demonstrate this guitar, it's neat to hear it through both amplifiers. So what I'm going to start with is the switch all the way forward, which is a combination of the neck pickup and the body sensor. And right now, I've got the switch down here. The switch allows me to go between the acoustic side and the electric amp. Here's the acoustic side. Sorry, the acoustic amp. I can switch it to the Fender Twin. Sounds completely different, right? Because the Fender has no high end in it. Want a little more treble? It's right here. Want to add some bass? A lot of the power in this guitar lies within the tone controls. So that's the first setting. The second setting shuts the sensor off. Okay? So now what we're hearing is just this neck pickup by itself. And if you think about that for a second, if you have a jazz guitar, a traditional sort of jazz guitar, the pickups on those guitars are always located right at the end of the fingerboard, right? It's because that's a really warm spot to amplify. The warmest you can ever play on your guitar is exactly an octave above where your left hand is. If I outline this E chord exactly an octave higher, it's real warm and buttery sounding. It's not metallic, right? So with that in mind, think about that jazz thing, and then you think about the ability to change the tone with these tone controls.